All right, we are live. Welcome everybody to Comic Book Streamland. I hope everybody's summer has been going well. I'm here joined by Marvin Wynn and Tom Hutchison. How you
Is this
doing?
it? Is this it?
This is
the whole show.
This
Just
is it. This is it. This is the.
I have to make up. I have to make up Calderon's energy too.
It's okay. It's okay. It'll be made up. It'll be made up. a lot has happened, guys, since the last time we were live, right?
Well, yeah, because you skipped out for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I gotta do things in the summer with the missus.
All right.
Right? I gotta make sure she's happy. If she's not happy, I can't do comics. Right? But the last time we were on, Supergirl hadn't come out yet. X-Men hadn't dropped. Avatar hadn't dropped. Enola Holmes hadn't dropped. Yeah, the live action Avatar on Netflix.
Avatar's been out on Netflix. That
Yeah,
came out like in December, man.
Season 2, bro.
What the fuck is Avatar on Netflix?
Dang, the last Airbender Avatar.
Oh, no one cares about that. No one.
Are you kidding me? That's fucking awesome.
No one cares about that.
Get out of here, bro.
No one cares about that.
Get out of here. That's
You
good
literally are the only person in my entire social media bubble of places that has said anything about that.
Are you serious?
The only part, you're the first person that I've heard that that's the thing
about Avatar, bro.
Has it died out though? Because I mean, it was really popular until M. Night Shyamalan's movie came out.
Oh, that was bad.
I'll tell you this:
so
that's
bad.
exactly like that Spider Noir. Nobody is talking about that fucking thing.
What are you talking about?
Nobody in my feed is like, yeah, like it's
Is
zero.
it major? No, it's not major.
It's already wiped under the fucking floor, man. Nobody cares. And it got like 11, I don't know, Emmy or whatever the TV stuff is, Emmy Award nominations, whatever. But like nobody's talking about this thing.
Wow,
crazy.
Wow, they're talking about the love affair between Netflix and Millie Bobby Brown is over. Okay. Because her last movie, Enola Holmes, had like 20 million views when the second installment had about 70. So since
I mean, I can tell you what the problem with that is that you're expecting people to drop everything they're doing to watch this show. Did you drop that? You kind of drop out of nowhere. Like they don't advertise anything on Netflix. They're like, oh, it's live. And people are like, all right, I'll get to it when I can. It's summertime. Why are you dropping something like that in the summertime period? That is a fall winter thing where people are going to be home and want something to watch.
Well, nobody watched her didn't she do like a dragon movie or something?
Yeah.
Nobody watched?
Yeah, Damsel.
Yeah. Damsel, yeah. Nobody watched that either.
Yeah, but I mean, do people really care about movies on Netflix? Like those movies on Netflix don't do well at all. The shows do well, but it has to be dropped at a specific time. And I think Netflix problem is that they overburden things. So they've got access to Roald Dahl's books, right? So they're doing a Willy Wonka sequel.
No one wants that.
Right, exactly. But you see, they're doing a Willy Wonka game show. Like nobody cares about that stuff. Just like they killed Squid Game. Like Squid Game was huge, and then they decided to go back to the tank over and over and over again. Then they killed it. Now no one cares about Squid Game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're putting people in a bad spot, and then you're going to they had something that people were liking, Burroughs, that people were liking that, and they canceled it.
Well, it was designed for only one season, wasn't it?
I don't know. But
that's what people have said. But here's the thing: people liking it isn't the point. People watching it is the point. And if 100 people watch it and love it, awesome. But they need like 50 million people to watch it and like it. So if it's only getting 1 million views, they're going to be like, cut this out. We're not doing this. Right. So it's not about, that's the thing with like all this Marvel stuff too. Like X-Men 97, I remember when that came out, everybody was talking about it. They were liking it, but then the ratings on it came out and nobody was watching it. Like everybody that did watch it liked it, but it was such a small number of actual views on the season that it was almost like, what are we doing? No one's watching this.
Right. But that again, that's just the nature of things, is that it's streaming. Why do I have to drop everything and watch it? It's not like when we were little and you got a one chance to see something and then you had to wait a long time before they come back.
Most things aren't even weekly. They just drop the whole thing.
Yeah. But that was the whole binge thing. So is the binge era over?
Well, no, they'll just wait until all the episodes are out and then
they'll binge it. Yeah. And in doing that, you can cancel your subscription and wait for it and then get it when it's all done. So if you have 8 episodes and that's going to take 2 months, you just cancel your subscription for 2 months, save yourself the money, then kick back in and watch it in a week and turn it off again.
But I think like with X-Men, I think the ratings will peak back up with episode 4 because that's people have been really, really talking about episode 4. So then it'll dip again and then it'll go back up again. So it'll be like a roller coaster. But if that thing is not something that everyone is like, oh, we got to watch it because we don't want to get spoiled. That's where the FOMO.
But the spoil comes in from people talking about it. If no one's watching it, no one's talking about it.
Right.
And if no one's talking about it, then no one knows that it exists and they don't care and they stumble on it later. Like it's a really bad cycle of nonsense.
Right. Just like they dropped the new season of The Bear. I don't see anyone caring or talking about that.
I thought The Bear was over.
It is. But they dropped the whole season at once. They just like drop it and get it over with.
The final season.
Yeah.
Was that before or after the John Bernthal one?
After. They had like a special they did, and then I think was it last week they dropped the final, like all the episodes.
Really?
Yeah. So and that again, that's another problem. Is like everything at once. So everything is coming out all at the same time. Like I get picky choosy on what I want to watch, right? I can wait for that. I'll just watch that later. Like I haven't watched The Bear. I'll wait.
Right. I mean, I didn't watch Wire until everything was done and over with. I was like,
FOMO really doesn't exist unless you can build up. Like I wouldn't bet the Stranger Things ratings probably dipped into that season because then people didn't like the last episode, so they were telling everybody, and I bet their ratings on that show probably dipped. So
yeah.
It's not a good answer for anything. Like, and I think that one of the problems is that you've got someone in a office crunching numbers trying to figure out the formula, and every time they think they figured it out, Supergirl comes out.
Well, or the opposite side, once you think you got it figured out, Obsession and Backrooms come out, and these little dinky, no budget things explode. Hollywood has no fucking clue what they're doing. No. Like they're lost. They're completely lost.
Right.
Like here's the thing for Supergirl. I don't know if you guys saw it. I want to know where the hell $200 million went on that movie because it didn't go into effects. I'll tell you that.
Really? I didn't see it.
So that's the one thing that I think people have been trying to figure out. And unless you're in that boardroom in that office, you're never going to figure out how Hollywood math works. But the one thing I think that people don't realize is that when they do a movie, they are setting up an office for it. So you have lawyers, you have HR, you have catering, you have this, you have this, you have this, you have this. There's a lot of pieces that you don't see in that budget for that movie that starts adding the cost up. But then like when you do that Hollywood math, 100 million becomes 200 million. 200 million becomes 300 million on their sheets because they're counting on returns on taxes and things like that. So they're doing this on purpose so they can get tax breaks.
So they're playing Moneyball.
Yeah. Because they can. Because what's something that's happened in Hollywood? There's no regulation. Who's regulating any of that stuff? Nobody. There's no regulation. They do whatever they want.
Yeah, and then they rig the books so that all the people that get points, they're like, well, there's no profits.
Yeah, they did. Which Harry Potter?
Even if you do make money, it's like, well, we didn't really make that much money.
Right. There was the one Harry Potter movie. They said they did. They when they cooked the books, they said they didn't make a profit. They lost money on it. They made like almost $1 billion, and then they made no money.
All right, we got a bunch of people. Oh, we got a bunch of people. We got some comments jumping in over here, right? We got the missus chiming in with she loves Spider-Man. The Pines was great too, but no second season. It's also in the years in between, by the time it comes back, who's going to be watching it? The Pines. What was the Pines? I didn't see the Pines.
It's the same as Avatar. I don't know what that is.
Streaming is killing movies, and the Supergirl budget went to Jason.
Jason was on screen for like 7 minutes. So no.
Jason Momoa. God,
It's all the money. But I mean, so the streaming thing. I mean, but that's just escalating up from rentals. So DVDs, Blu-rays, and things like that.
Well, yeah, except that they put it on streaming way too fast. That's the whole thing.
Well,
it's like the movie comes out in May and it's on streaming in July, where it used to be movies out in May, it comes out on VHS in Christmas or something.
Right.
You know?
But you know why that's happening is because the movie theaters are crying, we need more movies, right? So you've got 3-4 new movies every week, multiple times a week. Sometimes they come out on Friday, sometimes Thursday, sometimes Wednesday. So you're creating a problem for yourself because now you have to make room for that new stuff. The old stuff has to go away. You don't have second run theaters anymore. Remember, you used to have second run theaters where movies would go to and they would sit for a while and then they would go. That doesn't exist. And now you like looking at Supergirl as an example. That movie's going to be out on streaming. I mean, out on digital before the end of this month, because they sandwiched it between Toy Story and Minions. That was a mistake.
Yep.
People didn't like the movie,
and they're going to put it out on digital right when Spider-Man comes out.
Right. So it's going to right exactly. So it's going to go from second place, it's opening weekend, the fourth place to gone. It's going to probably out of the top 10. They don't have a choice but to put it out so they can make their money. It's done. That movie is over with. It's not going to make any money for them. So they say, screw it. We'll just make our money off of the digital sales.
But that's not the only thing they're killing, right? I mean, they kill not just the second screening, right? But they kill the secondary market for a movie to make money when there's no more, forget VHS, but Blu-ray, collectible.
Well, they're doing that, but all that comes after digital, right? So digital is this month when like it'll probably be on Blu-ray in August or September. So their market isn't that because they don't have to split as much money when they put it. They don't have to press a disc. You don't have to ship anything. So I mean, it's they pocket more of that money. So it's like, okay, we're going to get as much as we can out of this thing. Put it on Blu-ray. Then after on Blu-ray, then it'll be on HBO Max, and we'll churn it a little bit more. And then it'll just disappear. It'll be gone.
Right. So, and they're getting these contracts for taking it off of their own streaming platform, right? And sending it to another streaming platform. So it's like they're warring against each other, but they're still business. They'll still do business with each other once the run has phased out of their own personal platform.
Right. It's a crazy system, but like again, the studios and the theaters have created their own problem because more when it should be more, it should be less.
Right.
Like you need that movies need time to churn in the theater, right? Because like what did ET run for almost over a year in theaters?
I don't know.
Movie will never be able to do that because it's going to get kicked out because we got to get that new movie in because no one's going to movie theaters either.
Right. But then when people go to movie theaters, you see them taking pictures in front of the big displays. You see them taking pictures in front of the mini marquees, right? They want an experience in the theater. And the theater's not capitalizing on what they can do to generate that traffic to come in.
But then what was their answer to all that?
But at the end of the day, the movie has to be good.
Yeah.
It has to be good. It has to be just good. Good. Not great. It has to be good. But we're churning out so much stuff that's just like, what is this? Supergirl is to me, what is this movie? It was 10 years ago, this would have been a hit. But now, everything in Supergirl, we've already seen from every possible manner in superhero films. So there's not anything new other than Supergirl and Lobo, of course. But I mean, in the context of like presentation of heroes and music and all that kind of stuff, like there is zero escalation in Supergirl, even from Superman. Like that's what I was expecting. It's like Superman's kind of all right, it's fine. Let's take it up a notch, and then notch that again into Superman next year, and do this like trilogy of like let's power this up. But there's nothing in Supergirl to power anything up.
Is the pushing of screens? Excuse me. Is what's happening with comic books where they dominate shelf space Is that what's happening with movies, where good movies like Obsession or Backrooms or even Furious, which was something that got a lot of word of mouth, gets drowned out and doesn't have staying power in the theater because they're buying so many
Obsession, are you kidding? It's the opposite. Obsession
Really?
and Backrooms have done over $400 million a piece. They are monumental hits and have been in the theaters for, I think Backrooms is gone now, but Obsession is still around. And it is like in the top 5 all-time horror movies ever made.
What?
Yeah. Those 2 movies were gigantic, right? And they came out as just little nothing films, but they were received well by the audience, and they exploded, and people kept coming back for them. So
that's what you want. You want one person to buy 5 tickets to a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And and because of the short time between theater viewing and home viewing, that's what you have to have. It used to be one person, 3 tickets back in the 80s. Yeah. Now you need one person to buy 5 tickets for a movie to make money.
And that's what I'm saying. Like here, Obsession, they spent almost nothing on this film comparably. It made $400+ million. Meanwhile, here's $200 million for Supergirl, and it's not even going to find that $200 million at the theater. No. Not even close. So what I'm saying is that the theaters, the movies, the audience wants something that they haven't seen. Supergirl, you have seen all of it already. And just dropping in Jason Momoa's Lobo is not enough to be like, oh, let's go see this. Because who cares? It doesn't matter.
Here we go. Doodle says, instead of seeing Jason Momoa, I'd rather pay to see JD Mamau. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. Yo, guys, how's everyone? What's up, Fred? How we doing? All digital feature is fast approaching. Excuse me. An all digital future is fast approaching. Sony just announced no more physical discs for games starting in 2028. How long before movies drop physical releases?
Physical releases are already moving into a niche thing. Yeah. But there is a humongous return to physical media, especially when they just announced that a whole bunch of shit that you bought digitally from Sony, I think it was from Sony, is now being taken away.
Yeah, they lost the license expired on those movies.
Right. So you don't have them anymore. So there's a huge return to physical media. I mean, people buy VHS tapes, not just to have them for like decoration, but they're watching them on old TVs. Again, because they haven't been altered. It's the original version. Like all this Disney stuff, they keep altering things as you go along. And so they want the original thing. They're buying VHS. They're buying freaking Laserdisc. They're buying Blu-rays, but it is a smaller market. But you're seeing higher end things. So like 4K is it's a more expensive product than a Blu-ray. They do steel books and fancy, just like comics. They do fancy versions of things to make those
Criterion collections.
Yeah. They do it like that. Criterion is a huge movie library that people freak out on. So physical media is coming back in a weird way, but it is still going to be a little more expensive than it used to be.
Right. But the problem that when bringing up the Sony thing is that the most popular players for those discs are PlayStations. PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 are the most popular players for DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4K. You take that away, that market crashes. That market it's done for. There's because people are buying these as
but you can buy a Blu-ray player for like $20.
Well, I know, but if you're saying that this is what I'm using as my player, and then Sony's like, we're going to take away that component from it. Now you've entered into a new market of digital only for movies and games.
Is that, I know it's going to sound like a joke, but there was that one scene in Tropic Thunder when they were talking about how Blu-rays dominated over, what was the other version?
HD DVD.
HD DVD.
You know what put them over, put Blu-ray over the top over HD DVD?
What?
I don't really want to guess.
Porn.
Yep.
Really?
Porn chose Blu-ray, so it wins.
Really?
Yep. That killed HD DVD when the porn industry decided on Blu-ray.
So now that porn is just streaming,
everything streams now. But
yeah.
Okay. All right, Duro come back and said Obsession's budget was only about $750,000. I'd kill for $750,000.
But here's the other for that. So what lesson is Hollywood going to learn from that?
Nothing.
Exactly. What are they going to do? They're going to go to those YouTubers and say, make us a movie. That's what they're going to do.
That's exactly what just happened. The guy that makes this has now been signed to a ridiculous contract for Universal. And from what I understand, his movie is going to be a remake. What have we learned? Of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're going to let him do that.
They did a remake of that already.
That's what I'm saying.
Not by
Hollywood learns nothing, and they're going to give him $150 million to do it, probably.
And you know it's going to be a disaster because you're giving someone who doesn't need that kind. Like when you gave Nina DaCosta all that money to do the Marvels, what did she do? What did she do with all that money? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can't give a art house person that kind of money. They don't know what to do with it.
Well, she hired the K-pop guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? He cost
nothing with the money.
He cost money,
and it was just like Avatar. Nobody cared.
Just like you got Robert Eggers doing a Resident Evil movie that's not a Resident Evil.
I just saw the trailer for that today.
Why?
I'm so glad I don't have to watch that movie. As soon as I saw his name, I was like, okay, I can pass on that.
Can they not do Resident Evil anymore? I'm tired of it.
I don't care about I never cared about the franchise.
Can they do Resident Evil at all? Because they haven't, like, none of these live action movies have been Resident Evil.
I just will never watch a Zach Regger movie again. Period. Barbarian Weapons, I'm out. I don't need to give you my money.
Yeah, Weapons really got under my skin. I got hyped because I saw these kids chasing down an old lady, and I was like, "Oh, now we're going right." They took Children of the Corn to the next level, and then I'm watching the movie, and the section that I like was at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
it's like you pitched me something different. Fred, what's up, bro? Welcome.
I saw you guys having this conversation, and I really wanted to get involved.
You better have the right opinion.
Of course I do. My opinions are always right. This has happened before. This whole where we're at with Hollywood and what's coming out.
Goes in cycles.
It does, and Hollywood is very trendy, and it will happen again. But I kind of saw this, and I was like, I kind of wanted to get on here and say the good news that I see happening, and that's that. First of all, Obsession I saw the other day. I thought it was amazing. There's a lot to unpack in that, but I'm not going to get into that. The good news is that a generation is starting to come out, right? This director, this YouTube director, the Backrooms director, like these people are starting to get a shot. And, you can argue on whether or not they, should get hundreds of millions of dollars to make another movie. But like, that's, when Hollywood thrived, it was when it, trusted, the filmmakers to try, and they didn't make these movies.
But the problem is that Obsessions of Backroom were not made by Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right. And that's
so
going to be the problem.
These guys are going to be like, "Hey, you're awesome. Here's $200 million. Go make a piece of shit remake," and it's going to.
Well, that's where we are now. Hollywood is just going to continue to chase the remake, and it's its own fault, right? Like the idea, the Hollywood that we know exists now because of the franchise, and it's been chasing its own tail since Jaws 2. Literally. I mean, that's when it began. So they're always going to continue to put their money on blockbusters because they're always business-wise have a little bit better chance of making their money out with the pre-existing
but the
property.
Irony of that thought process is if you watch the show, the movies that made us, and you watch every single one of those episodes, every single one of those fucking movies, Hollywood was like, we don't want to make this shit.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop making this shit. And that's where the franchises came from. This is the irony, is that when they put the money into these weird little projects, they became big, and then you created a tent pole out of it. But now Hollywood is not making like Ghostbusters, out of the blue, like a new, like, here's the thing. It's just, here's Ghostbusters exists. Let's make 8 versions of it. Here's this. Let's make 8 versions of it.
because
so these little guys have to do it themselves, essentially.
They were making those types of movies. They were just they were making safe movies then too. It was just a different model. Like instead of doing this, instead of Transformers being the star, it was Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like they were never making risky. No, they never make risky choices. They're risk averse. It's like the persistent pain in the ass filmmakers that get through the risk averse stuff that, you know, wind up making those movies, like you say, that become franchises. But those movies happen in spite of Hollywood, not because of Hollywood. Like there was never some glory days when they were like pushing those movies through. Like you said, they had to force those through reluctantly, and it's always been going on. Like Hollywood always trusts, since its inception, like, you know, since the idea of the movie star, like they've always trusted what they could do. Like since Wizard of Oz, 1939, Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind, like they were adapting, like, you know, popular properties to appease the audience. Like they made a nation, like one of the most popular things in the nation was the talent search of who was going to play Scarlett O'Hara. You know, like they were always driving like sensationalism and like, you know, what they can do to get people to come into the movie before the movie even opens. So it sucks what they're doing now. But like the good news is I see these movies and I see like, hey, maybe we might get Scorsese and Spielberg 2.0, because my complaint with movies in general recently has been that they don't trust the filmmakers, and B, they expect the filmmakers to do too much, and C, also the filmmakers are conditioned to do too much. Like my biggest thing that I wanted to contribute here about the idea of like Hollywood, where Hollywood's at is it's in a really bad spot, because like it's been here before, right? Like when the TV came out, it was going to be the end of Hollywood, and they had to like recalibrate and figure out what they can do different. And they came up with like their version of IMAX and VistaVision, and they came up with 3D, and they came up with Smell-O-Vision and a bunch of other ideas. So they need to figure out once again what makes them different and unique than streaming and these things, and lean into that. And I'm hoping what? Well, I mean, that's their solution right now, and that's what the marketing department comes up with. That's their best idea, and sadly, it's working better than people expected. Like that damn Trojan horse looks fucking cool, but they've had this they've been in these kinds of like ruts before, and I think the problem that they're in now is that a lot of the film, like when you know, I think we were lucky film wise to grow up when we did, because I think we're all of the same age, where we had like Spielberg, Scorsese, Cameron, and a lot of other guys firing on all cylinders, and like the technology helped them make great movies, and the studios trusted them, and you know, we got a lot of really good content that, you know, we're never going to get again. It was just a glory days, and we just think that's the standard, and it's not. But those guys were such good filmmakers because that's all they did. Like they would have these, you know, if you watch Spielberg and Scorsese and Coppola and these documentaries and stuff, they would have these really awkward nerd parties where they would all sit around pool tables and talk about French New Wave cinema. And it's like, it's because all they did was consume film. And nowadays, if you want to be a filmmaker, you don't just have to be a filmmaker. You have to have a social media presence and a following, and you have to be able, like,
right?
Yeah, there's so much shit that you have to do. You can't just be an artist anymore. And you can get like probably a really good artist that can't communicate and do all that, and they'll get kicked out in favor of, you know, the next Paul brother that's got 1 billion followers. So it's a shit system. The good news is that maybe these guys will cut through, and they'll be the next generation of like Spielberg and Lucas and stuff. And now, you know, I used to make films too. They made me kind of think about like, maybe I want to make a low budget horror thing again. So that's the thing that will help Hollywood, is like, if you organically find new talent, and maybe they can make it cool to be a filmmaker again. So the next generation will get really excited about it the way Spielberg and Lucas's people did.
Right. The problem though isn't finding the new talent. It's what you do with it afterwards.
Yeah.
That's because that's what we're talking about is what's his name? I don't even know what his name is. The Obsession guy is now has a huge thing, and he's just being handed a remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's like,
but I
number one, who's asking for this fucking thing? We've rebooted this thing more than a dozen times.
Yeah, wasn't there one out? Didn't they just do one like 2 years ago? Texas.
Yeah, there was even a Netflix one that they just did. Like,
so real quick, and I know JD, you want to say something, but rewind the tape back. Remember, was it Josh Trank with Chronicle?
I was just watching.
He went out and did something that was amazing on a low budget. And what did they do? They handed him Fantastic Four, and he lost his damn mind.
Yeah, he couldn't handle it. That's right.
But I was just watching a doc about that today. Apparently, like he was very into making a specific movie and kind of didn't tell anybody about it. Like he made kind of like a really dark, soulless. Like even the cast hated working with him, like because of the way he.
Yeah,
like
but that's what Marvin said. He lost his mind. He went the wrong way. You know, he didn't know what he was doing, and unfortunately, Hollywood had to step in, and we know what happens when that does.
Right, exactly. So
but one thing about
that's what the caution is not there with then handing again someone who's recently working with a small budget and then doing everything, and you give them all this money and they don't know what to do, and they don't have anyone guiding them because the studio is going to tell everyone to get out of his way. He knows what he's doing.
I agree with that, but to your point, Tom, I will push back a little bit because I do think that when Hollywood in recent years, when they have found talent, like they've done a pretty good job of like supporting their vision. Like Robert Eggers has had a pretty good run of getting to make the movies he wanted to. Ari Aster, who's the guy that I like, Yorgos Lanthimos, and there's one more that I'm thinking of, but I can't think of the name. But like, so they, when they find an indie filmmaker that's like dependable, they tend to support their visions and stuff and let them make 4 and 5, films in their vision and one stuff. Another great one. I mean, well, like he's not a great example because he's like a 50-year career, but like GDT and there are people who
I don't know who any of these people are. I know who Eggers is. I've never heard of the other people that you.
So the other one is like Poor Things, Bugonia. That guy was one of the ones I was.
Oh, fucking Bizarro movies, yeah.
Yeah,
but these movies have brought in audiences.
But I don't know
Oscars.
that. But the Oscars don't mean anything to me.
Okay,
they really don't.
There's still $100,000. There's still independent movies that are big budget risks, and they get the chance to make them. So
sure, risks. But what I'm saying is I don't disagree with that. But that's a little different than saying, "Hey, Obsession guy, go make Texas Chainsaw for me for $200 million."
But that's also on him.
Do you know what I mean?
To make that his number 2
of course.
project.
If I was him, I'd say the same thing. I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, give me the money and let's go." Exactly. Getting the bag is not the problem, but those because Begonia and Poor Things, those are fucking terrible movies. I mean,
I disagree.
Terrible movies. Begonia is better, but
Begonia,
not great movies.
His movies are. I'll push back on that a lot. His stuff is really good. It's really risky and stuff, and that's unfair because you know what? This happens a lot. People say that a lot, like, oh, you know what? Why won't Hollywood just give us something different than they do? And you just put it in a box. We're like, oh, that's weird and it sucks. Like,
no, it sucked because it sucked. The Poor Things was a terrible fucking movie. I mean, it was terrible across the board. It was a terrible movie. Begonia actually was, and Calderon and I talked about this a little bit. Begonia actually was kind of into. I actually like. Spoiler alert! I actually liked what they did with the ending where they actually went for it. I was like, because I didn't expect that. So I was like, all right, this is. They went where I didn't want to go, or I didn't expect they'd go, which was very, very good. But I still think that it was weird for the sake of weird, rather than weird for pushing the story in any sort of. And Poor Things was just weird for the sake of weird, like across the board. So
if I may, and I'm not trying to be a dick, because
like I said, have the right opinion and you'll be fine.
I love and respect you, but I feel like you're falling into a trap here that a lot of us do. We all do, right? But it's like, we're what we want is what we want, and we expect that, and that's the problem, is that they're not giving us what we want. It's like, you were saying how you want Hollywood to do something different, but you don't want them to do Transformers, but you want them to do a good Transformers, but you want them to do your Transformers. It's this like kind of paradox where all of us nerds fall into, where it's
that's
like
not me.
Spider-Man.
No, but that's not me. I'm not the guy who wants what I want. I want to be surprised, which is why I liked the end of Begonia. It did surprise me. I love being surprised. If you can surprise me, you've done your job. Like I give you a thumbs up for that.
I just say there's a lot of people that it's like the Spider-Man paradox, where it's like, hey, they're making a new Spider-Man movie. That's awesome. And we all get excited, but you get excited because you think the villain's going to be Green Goblin because that's your generations. And you get excited because Venom's yours. And you get excited because you think it's going to be about Miles Morales. Like, it all means something different to us now. And we all want our version of it that's just great. And it's like, number one, Hollywood's never. This is another thing that I like to say a lot. Hollywood is not at all in the interest of giving us, the fans, what we want. It is not their goal. So the great thing about like the comics and the original art is we're lucky enough to get like inspired people like ourselves who put what we want into it, like our heart and our love for these characters and our versions of, what they can be. The job of Hollywood is to strip that out and make a hamburger out of it that they can sell, like a McDonald's burger that they can sell to people. So they want to take out anything that made the stories unique or special or have an opinion and make something broad that they can sell to people. So you got to recalibrate your expectations with Hollywood movies and stuff. Your hope is you're going to get something different from the independent system or the guys that we got. I was so excited for Obsession. I'm so glad it came out. It was great. I mean, even the things when I thought about it later and it made me uncomfortable, it's like, well, that's the point. You're thinking about it in a way that somebody like that would. It's really smart. And we're going to get those. But don't expect Hollywood to say, hey, that's great. Let's chase that now. They're going to try in their own way. But they're never going to have a come to Jesus moment where they care about fans. They care about money.
I mean, they're going to commercialize it as much as possible. Hi, Calderon. How you doing?
What's up, people? I'm a little late.
Hey, JD.
Okay. I had to take care of some family business.
I hope everything's okay.
Everything's fine, thank God. But Fred, I mean, one of as we all know, it's like everybody said, they're there just to make money. That's their main concern, right? Mm-hmm. If you can prove you can make money, they will always support you. Period. Mm-hmm. End of story. It doesn't matter what you've done, right? Look at the monsters they've supported over the years, and they're like, well, they still bring in bucks. We don't really care, right? But the thing is there is an opportunity. James Gunn started off as a small filmmaker. He was making indie films for years, proved himself to be able to make a big budget movie like Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's why he's at where he's at today, right? But I guarantee if you spoke to the guy, I think the only reason he's stuck with the big movies is probably because he's tired of, having to shoot guerrilla style and, have get $20, you got $20 to feed the crew. He's tired of that stuff. So he wants these big budget movies, right? Because I think I've heard him say something along those lines. He didn't enjoy that factor of it, right? Because who wants to do that? You'd be like, oh, I can either pay you or I can feed you, or I can only feed you, right? And it's going to be pizza and hot dogs. It's not going to be anything else, But you got a big budget movie. You're feeding everybody steak, right?
Yeah.
Look, I mean, I don't even know what the question was, but I'm just jumping.
No, you know what?
This is just a spiral of many things.
We went down the hole.
But James Gunn is a great example, though. I love the James Gunn example because he did it what I would consider the right way, and he kind of solves the problem that Tom was pointing out, was that he didn't just make an indie film and whatever. He made a trauma film, and then he made an indie horror film, and then he made so he worked his way up, and he learned how to handle larger crews and things of that nature. So that's why they trust him now.
An indie superhero film where the female protagonist raped the guy.
Which one was this?
Super.
Yeah.
Super. Okay.
Good movie.
See, but trying to capitalize on
Guardians. This is before Guardians.
Okay.
Yeah, way before.
Capitalize on what Marvin said, right? How indie guys can't handle big budgets or get taken out of their own head. For every James Gunn, you got a Taika Waititi, right? He went great with What We Do in the Shadows, great with Thor Ragnarok. Shit the bed with Thor 4, and then took on the Akira remake. How many other remakes? Right, a Star Wars movie. He was signed on to that.
Yeah,
and that stuff went nowhere. He couldn't handle all of it.
My understanding is his TV show, whatever it is, it still does well. Right, it still does well.
It's over. It ended.
Well, I don't know any.
But it went well.
Yeah, it went well. It went well. And the thing with, I think the reason that was Love and Thunder went to in the shitters because he wasn't supervised. You're supposed to have producers and executive producers help the director. When they're getting offline, that's where they're supposed to step in and say, listen, I understand, you're in charge of the show, right? It's like you have the CEO of a company, but you still have a board of directors.
Yeah.
Right. And when the CEO, they're in charge and the board of directors doesn't step in unless that dude is really, really, really messing up.
Okay.
So then, you know what I mean? And that's what happened, I think, with Taika Waititi. They say he's a creative genius and nobody dared step in and say, listen, bro, I get it. You're a genius. Step back, trim this, cut this, rethink this. Right. Because
but that's when he's doing that's when he's doing a work for hire project, right? because when he did Jojo Rabbit, I think Jojo Rabbit is a great movie.
I do too. Yeah, there's a human element to it too, right? It's that there's really something healthy about like punching above your weight class, you know, like being in there and feeling like maybe I don't deserve to be here. I have to live up to this. I have to earn this every day and whatever. So like when he's doing Ragnarok, this is his first like big studio property. He's really trying and stuff. And when you come back after making Ragnarok and being told you're a genius and getting nominated for Jojo Rabbit and being told you're a genius, you're walking around believing your own, you know, that you're a genius and that you can make anything and that everything you do. Exactly. And he really thought that what he was doing, because here's another thing that I talk about a lot too, is we need to recalibrate our idea of like how many really good filmmakers there are out there. Making a film is really hard. And I think there are a lot of people that maybe make one or two really good movies and they get considered to be a great filmmaker. And if you just yank that one or two times, they got it right out of their filmography, it kind of all collapses under the weight of it. And I don't know who that was, but I'm sorry.
Christopher Nolan.
I disagree. I think Nolan's one of the good ones. I think if anything, I'll tell you guys what, if there's any hope for cinema, it's going to be something like the Odyssey and stuff like that. Because what you need for Hollywood to work is you need your it's like a baseball team, right? You need your aircraft carrier, your Shohei Ohtani producing, and then you also need your lesser guys in the bottom of the order producing, and that's what the Backrooms and the Obsession did. And they gave this year Hollywood a decent chance of having a good summer. So if he can do well and maybe Spider-Man sticks to the landing, like it could actually pun. But
I got a question for everybody. Jay, I don't mean to,
okay.
But like, since you guys, obviously Tom or Barbara don't think Nolan is a great director, like who do you guys consider?
No, I think he's a good director. I just think he's very hit and miss in the execution of whatever. There's a few that I like. There's a few that I don't like.
Yeah, he's the guy who did two good movies, and then I don't know what the other set was. Like that Batman trilogy was awful to me.
I think that's so. Oh,
which one is bad?
Well, see, I'm sort of in your box, Marvin. I really like Batman Begins a lot. Mm-hmm. Dark Knight is whatever, and the last one is unwatchable. But I thought the first one was fantastic, so I was really in. I was like, "Give it to me! I want more of this." And then.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree on that. I actually get really I start a lot of fights this way, but I think
just opinions.
I think there are like less than 10 superhero movies that are really good movies about something, and I think 3 of them are the Nolan movies. I think there are a lot. I mean, what like that? Those movies are about a lot of stuff. In addition to the fact that they really are trying to make a grounded, thoughtful superhero movie about character development with an arc of like ascension, dissension, and then like redemption. Those movies are actually about something, right? They're about how a vigilante would function and how a society should function in a post 9/11 world, right? First movies are standing up to fearmongers. Second are wrestling down a domestic terrorist, and third are reclaiming a city that's fallen. So those movies are actually about something and well executed, in my opinion. And they actually hold up as like good movies you'd find on a good movies list. And you can't say that about a lot of other comic movies. As much as I love comics and love comic cinemas. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I can't agree with the last one. I understand the theme. I'm with you on the theme, reclaiming the city.
Yeah.
But it wasn't executed as well as it should have. I think there was a lot of notes that he was given that he needed to hit and just put them in, and it took me out of the film.
I'm not going to argue that's not the least best of them, but it's also the third act of a story, the same way like Return of the King is the third act of a Lord of the Rings story. So I think it might have been a case of like Christopher Nolan at that point was, like I said earlier, he's already the champion and he's already on to like some other stuff. He's no longer fighting hungry to make that movie and stick the landing. So I think it might have been that case, but I still say like as the third act of a 3-act story about a guy that like, let me take care of that. As a third act, I think it works.
Gotcha. Marvin, I'm sorry, you wanted to say something, brother.
Yeah, I was going to say that, The Dark Knight Rises has one of the worst death scenes ever.
Which one?
When Talia died. Like she's in mid-sentence and she gets it falls over.
That's the way to kill her.
All of it is awkward. All of it is awkward.
But you were asking about good directors. I'll give you Coogler. I'll say Ryan Coogler. I think that
Coogler?
Ryan Coogler. Yeah, he's a good director.
What he's done.
I'm sorry. The question was good superhero directors or comic book directors?
I just meant directors in general.
Yeah.
I mean,
good directors in general. All right, Tom, where are you at with that?
I don't really pay attention to that.
Okay.
Because like we're talking about Nolan, right? I like these. I fucking hate these. What's Tim Burton? Same thing. I love these. I fucking hate these. So I don't really look at an actor or a director and be like, I just love all of this. Everything is the execution of that particular thing, and it either works or it doesn't, regardless of who's there. So there's obviously guys, like I just said, Tim Burton. I think he's done great stuff. Nolan, I think he's done great stuff. So there's all guys that have the pluses and the minuses. Spielberg has done great stuff. Disclosure Day was shit, and it just is what it is. So I don't really have these guys that I'm like, oh my god. Well, I mean, in Spielberg's case, I was excited for Disclosure Day. I was like, oh fuck, he's taking me back to UFOs again. Like I love this idea. Let's go. And it didn't work. But most of the time, it's not like, oh, this guy's making a movie. Like I'm going to go see that movie. It's show me the trailer. Does the trailer look like anything I want to see? Yes, I'm going. No, I'm streaming it maybe later on.
Everybody's gonna have
a lot of people said that they thought Disclosure Day would have been better if it had followed them as children. If the children were leads of that movie.
I didn't watch it.
I haven't seen it yet. I do want to though.
I don't know. I get that point. That's an interesting point, but I don't think it would have saved anything.
No.
I mean, to me, it felt like a corporate Spielberg movie.
100%. Yeah,
there was a lot of hands in the pot in that movie because of the amount of money that they handed him.
Yeah,
right.
And
right.
if you and that's one of the things that is really weird to me in Hollywood. If you can't trust Steven Spielberg, Scorsese, or the guy who did Alien to do a movie, you can't trust these guys to do a movie. You've got problems. That's where the problems.
You guys
is that the executive?
You guys really act like it's really easy to make a movie. Like it's really a hard thing to make a good movie, and like the success rate, like it's far closer to like a good batting average, in baseball than it is like like a person that hits like 200 or 300 in Hollywood is a good director. Like it's really hard to.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't look at it and be like, oh, that guy's doing something.
Yeah,
like that doesn't work for me. I want to see the execution of the trailer. Yeah,
but when I say like a good director and somebody that I think is a good director, it's like somebody who's like visual style. Like I'm like, okay, like it doesn't mean that I'm like, okay, it's going to be a great movie. I'm like, oh, it's Sam Raimi. I know what that's going to look like because I know Sam Raimi's eye. I want to see what that is. Or it's like, I mean, there are I don't know who today. I mean, today I think of the guy I mentioned, Yorgos Lanthimos, who does the guy that did the Beau is Afraid movie. I think that's Ari Aster. I hate a lot of his movies. I really do. But like when he gets something right, it's right, and it always looks cool and it looks different. So yeah, I don't know. It's
always weird when I see people fall in line behind M. Night Shyamalan. I'm like, what is special about these guys in the movies that he's making? Like he had one good movie. One.
I give him like even 2 or 3, but
he's had 2 or 3 good ones, and then one that would be a good movie with a good edit.
Which one's that you think, JD?
Lady in the Water.
Happening.
I haven't seen that. I did want to see that
Lady
one.
Lady in the Water, I think, is a really, really good
movie. I'll tell you why I think the Lady in the Water missed. And this is a really weird take.
Missed, yes.
But I'll tell you why I think it missed. Is because up until that point, all of his films had been, what's the twist? Where something's going on. What are we looking for? Where's the twist? Lady in the Water is not that. Lady in the Water is just literally just a fantasy story. But I think people were in the theater because I know I was one of them. Like, what the fuck, man? Where is this going? Where's the twist? Where is it? And then like, oh, it's over. Like, what?
Well, he said that. Here? He said that in his interviews that he wasn't trying. He was trying to break out of.
Yeah. And it's an interesting fantasy movie. But if you go in with like what Fred's talking about, if you go in with a mindset of like, this is a Shyamalan movie, this is what I'm expecting. I'm going to try and figure this out, but there's nothing there.
Right.
Then I think people are going to be like, this is crap. Nothing happened. Like this is strange to me.
And then I it's really weird that he writes himself into his movies as the most important character.
Right.
Every one of his movies, he is the catalyst to everything that happens.
Well, in that particular movie, I felt was the most egregious, and that's the part that needs to be cut out.
I have no
almost everything in that movie. It is perhaps the most egregious out of all of them. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. For Jane disappeared, so I'm going to take over for a minute.
I mean, for me, I like Unbreakable, I like Signs, and I like Sixth Sense.
Mm-hmm.
And even The Village, I can tolerate. It's not great, but I can tolerate The Village. Yeah. And then after The Village, that's where it starts to get a little weird.
Yeah.
The one he did a couple of years ago with his daughter at the concert, or that one started out
Crap
good.
Was okay.
Fell apart.
Was okay.
It was a nice premise, but he blew it halfway through.
Yeah, like he couldn't like the second half of the movie, it just falls apart.
Yeah,
like you're going. What are you doing? As soon as you inject yourself into the movie, that's where it goes off the rails. That's the end of the movie.
But he had a good, like, that's the thing is, like, the nice thing about that movie, it was, like, the beginning at least, is that it shows that he knows how to direct. Like, he knows how to put scenes together and build suspense and stuff. Like, there are some people that you can trust with that, and there are some people that just don't know what they're doing. Like the example you gave earlier, Tom, about the Barbarian and Weapons director, I think he is a bad director. Like he almost boxes you in as a director where like the camera is like here and the scare can only come from here. And he stays right there for a long time and then the scare comes. It's just really bad.
I'll just throw this out. I don't know the guy's name, but I just saw Evil Dead Burn today.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay. If you like the franchise, you'll be fine. Okay. It's nothing special in the story department, but we're talking about directors and the cinematography of it. Fuck me. Whoever that guy is and his cinematographer, what they were doing with camera movement and angles and blocking scenes and motion and moving, like I felt like I was at fucking cinema school. Like, look, this is what you can do with the camera. I was like, oh my God. So while the story was I was enthralled with just what this guy was doing across so many different environments and how cameras and tilting and blown away. So if you guys want to really see like a director and his team like at let's hope it's not his peak and this is like he's done after this, but at like just a true master level of like, oh my God, it was incredible. Story's okay. The story's okay, but it's great to look at.
Yeah, he comes from an indie director. He's a low budget indie director that came up and they gave him a shot. Like you're saying is that, but you don't give him a shot and say, "Here's $200 million. Good luck to you." Right. That's where you're going
building up to it.
Yeah, Sam's a producer on that. So is Bruce Campbell. So they were clearly going to be involved with all that kind of stuff, and they helped him along. But what they did was tremendous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
just don't want to see someone get their spirit broken like Josh Trank did when he did Fantastic Four. Like he went through this shit, and he lost Star Wars over that. He lost Star Wars.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I literally just watched a YouTube video about the making of that movie today, and they say he was like a weird dude to begin with, but that's neither here nor there. But they really did like he tried to like save his cut of the movie, and they were not having it because they couldn't do anything with it. They felt and they felt misled.
I don't know.
We got a bunch of people.
I'm sorry. Going along Tom's line, I mean, as far as a movie goes, that I've always considered to be a really, really good piece of cinema. To just look at the pictures is Legend, right? A lot of people don't like the film, but if you could stop that film at any frame, and it's like looking at a piece of art.
Yeah, like a painting.
Like every frame.
The Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah. You look at it. I mean, you don't have to hear it. You just every frame you just stop, and it's like looking at a piece of artwork. It's crazy.
And I think the other thing about is Tim Curry. Like Tim Curry destroys that movie.
Oh
yeah, brother.
It's darkness. Like Tom Cruise can't he didn't stand a chance in that movie with Tim Curry as darkness.
I think Tim Curry's range has been very underrated over the years.
Like he deserves any kind of accolades that you give him for his longevity in movies, like going from Darkness and then playing the butler in Clue. Come on,
dude, go before that. Go Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah. Go Legend. Go the butler in Clue. Go Pennywise. Yeah. Right. Go the original Joker before Mark Hamill. In Batman the Animated Series. Don't know what happened there.
He was too dark. He was too dark. I've seen screen tests of his voices. He went really dark with it. He did.
All right, guys. There's been a lot of people chiming in.
A lot of comments.
Let me give them their shout outs.
That's because Fred and I are fighting, and people like it when people fight.
I don't think we're fighting at all, man.
Nobody's fighting. I could hear you though when I was at the door. I was like, oh. And Amazon loves to deliver at all times of night. Let me tell you. So this is going back to the guy who left for Obsession to do what did you say? Texas Chainsaw?
Texas, right? I think he's doing Texas Chainsaw. That's
okay. So he should pocket the 140 and make $10 million moves, right? Obsession was inspired by the Monkey Paw episode of The Simpsons, and didn't read the original source material. Okay. William also says, I'm liking the Fred guy to recommend me movies now. The Missus comes up with, we do not talk about Love and Thunder. The goats still haunt me. Daphne, I hope you're doing well. All right. Maybe the mistake is we're making is expecting talented directors to always make hits. You guys did talk about that before I slipped away, right? Nobody bats 100 or whatever the sports ball phrase.
1,000, Daphne. It's 1,000. Everyone bats 100. That's easy.
Yeah. Just like a mediocre talent can luck out with one hit. That's absolutely right. M. Night sucks. I hate his twists. A lot of them have been a miss. Split wasn't bad. Okay. Split was amazing.
Yeah, but
it was all in the end.
Split is all McAvoy. I mean,
it is
all McAvoy.
That's
100%. Yeah. The actor was great. I didn't think he had it in him.
McAvoy, go back and watch some of his earlier stuff, and you can see it. You can see that he was just waiting to break out as an actor.
Yeah, no, but not just that, dude. His physical presence in that movie, right? And how he shifted from the Beast to whatever, Mrs. Doubtfire, right? That was, and it's not like he had to lose the weight in between those scenes, right? Yeah. It was just the way he carried himself. So that was amazing. The actor was great. I didn't think he had it in him with all the characters, right? The review sounds far more enthusiastic than your post. Okay,
no, if you look at my review, it goes. It says that's the high point of this fucking movie was the cinematography. That's a key part of my review.
Orlando with Tilda Swinton is the same way. Every frame is a painting. Are we referring to Lord of the Rings with that one?
No, that's Legend. Oh no, sorry.
Legend you were talking about.
Orlando's a movie. There's a movie named Orlando. Yeah,
I don't know what that is. That's like Avatar. Yeah. Nobody cares.
No, that's Legolas, right? Is she?
No, you're talking about Orlando Bloom, but there's a film called
Orlando with Tilda Swinton.
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of that.
Excuse me. I've never heard of it either.
Yeah, it's a really good film. It's a good film. It's been a while since
I'm thinking the elves, the lighting in those scenes when they were together, it was fucking beautiful.
Rosario's only reference to Orlando is Orlando Bloom. Like that's all he's got.
Yes. You would think at least Disney World.
No, Kissimmee. I'll update everyone with what superpowers I end up with after the spider. Way to be. Guys, shit. This has been a hearty discussion here. I didn't think that the movie stuff would take us that far. And it started with Supergirl.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about how bad it is. We just skipped right over it, like everyone else did in the world.
Yeah, exactly, just like everybody else did.
Supergirl was great, guys. It was again. You're miscalibrating your expectations.
No. This is where we fight again. Okay. It's a terrible movie. It's a terrible movie. What I said. Well, let me rephrase. It's a terrible now movie. In my review, I said if this came out 10 years ago, you'd have something. Mm-hmm. But Supergirl, as it is executed, not on its concept of hero versus trafficker or whatever, that's fine. But the execution of that is everything we have already seen for the last 10 years in Marvel, including all of the stuff that James Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy, including her, well, look how edgy I am. I'm flipping somebody off. Like it is all everything that we've already seen. So for me, again, if this was 10 years ago, I think it would be in a different sort of frame of reference. But now you watch it and it's like, seen that, heard that music, seen that. Jason Momoa doesn't do anything, and we're done. And by the way, you have a hero who, spoiler alert, who basically ignores this little girl through the entire film until the end, just so she can go save her dog. Yes, obviously we would go save Crypto. Of course we would. But she ignores the girl throughout And only at the end does she finally realize, like, all right, I guess I'll do something for this kid, because Crypto's dead, because she thinks that she's missed her time window to save him. Like, it's such a weird.
All right, let me
go.
Yeah.
Let me put a hold on this. Is for those of you that see this and say the movie was released way past its prime day,
Potential
when
prime.
released,
Potential.
is that saying something similar to the way the Scarlett Johansson Ghost in the Shell came out? The live action movie. It all had moments in it that we'd seen in the Matrix and in the Gun Kata movie and all those other things.
Maybe
before.
to a degree, but that also got a lot of pushback because of people were like, well, why is she in it and not like a Japanese girl and stuff like that?
I think
it had a lot of other things going on with that too.
Got a hold of Supergirl as well.
I think one of the things that it kind of sunk that movie was it was a movie that was saved in editing.
It was a movie that was safe in what?
Editing. That there was remember there were competing cuts between James Gunn and the director, and they went with James Gunn's cut of the movie. So there's another cut of the movie out there.
Yeah, there's a Gillespie version of it.
Right.
Yeah, but that
I
happens.
don't think that's a big deal.
That happens with every movie. They make like a bunch of cuts of and versions and drafts. But if I may defend Supergirl, people are expecting it's expectations, and I don't think people calibrate their expectations enough with superhero movies. Like I said earlier, there have maybe been 10 really great superhero movies, maybe. And in my opinion, my humble opinion, that Superman movie that you're referencing is one of them. And that was their big swing, their big tentpole movie was Superman. And their next big tentpole movie is Superman 2. It's not Supergirl. They were not trying to top themselves, one up themselves, or do bigger. They're trying to build a universe and build a tent that's going to have a lot of stuff under it. So they're not trying to make another big hit to show you they're all going to be big hits. They're trying to do what Marvel should have done in the beginning, which is manage your expectations and say, these are the big ones. And then under that, you're going to get a smaller, more intimate Supergirl movie, which may show you some things that you may or may not have seen, but we're going to give you a healthy time to get used to this minor character so that you can like her. We're going to give you a Clayface movie that's in a completely different genre that you can try out and see if you like that. And you're going to get a Lantern series, and we're going to see what we like there and what we can fix and put into the bigger. So the reasons why it's bombing is this huge thing. It wasn't expected to do more than Superman. The budget was like a third of it.
I think it's too late for that.
Well, hold on. Can I just jump in real quick? Because I saw Supergirl, right?
I loved it,
and I enjoyed it to a degree.
Yeah.
But the issues that I have with it is that the character of Supergirl. Here's the problem that I think a lot of people were having this issue where I think is you have Superman and then you have Supergirl. There are different people that do different things, but they expected Supergirl to be like Mary Marvel, spotless, clean, so on and so forth, right? So what did they do? They took her. They said, we're not going to keep her like that. Clark is that, right? She's going to be something different. We're going to make something different of her. But the problem is that they went too far away from that model, and she does not come off as a human being I'd ever want to be around. She comes off like she smells. She comes off like just a dirty person. She's sloppy. She's messy. Not the type of human being I'd ever want to be around. Not the type of person I'd ever want to be rescued by. You understand? She's a superhero. You understand? And people expect superheroes to be better than them. Now, point of fact that she's going through trauma. She's been through trauma. She's seen her father, her mother, her entire civilization destroyed. She's been through that. You understand? But the arc that I see going on is that she goes through this movie, and then at the end of it, she realizes, oh, I've been being a shitty person.
Yeah.
Now I can get over it because I've done these things. Now I can move on, right? And we see by what the act that she does at the end, how she's not like Clark. Right? She's different from Clark. Mm-hmm. But the mistake they made, I feel, is that they made her a little too dislikable. You understand? That's the mistake I feel they made as a character. And that's what drove a lot of people away from the movie, is that they made her way too dislikable. The movie, I feel, should have started off as a positive beat and then later on filtered into this other thing where maybe she's telling a story or she's going through flashbacks where you see this ugly part of her life, right? And I think that maybe would have gone over better with the viewers, because then they could have seen, okay, she's gone through that. Whereas we were dragged through this mud with her You understand? Some people appreciate it, some people don't. And I'm gonna tell you right now, most people don't. Right. And I'll tell you right now, most comic fans, they wanted Mary Marvel, right? Which again, I don't think was I wouldn't have been the right way to go. I think this was the right way to go because I read the comic that it's based on, and she's not like that in the comic. I read the Tom King comic. Yeah, it's a good book, but she doesn't come off like a smelly, dirty degenerate. That's what she comes off as.
So, Calvin, let me ask you this, and let me ask the rest of you guys this. All right, so instead of giving us the Mary Marvel or the Helen Slater, right, or the pre-crisis Supergirl, are they leaning in the direction of giving us the Red Lantern Supergirl, the angry, the one who could be swayed easily to the dark side?
I think you're giving them way too much credit for reading comics.
Okay.
They're like, "What's a Red Lantern?" If you ask them that question, they you know.
Really quickly though, I will say they did read something because they went really hardcore into all the way that the moons affect them. So, you know, the green moon is like people were complaining like that's not kryptonite. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Green moons fuck them up. So they have done some deep aspect of pulling that kind of shit out of their ass. The question would be though, is will the lanterns lead into the idea of all of the lanterns that then could then thread back to Supergirl later? But that's asking an awful lot. Especially now that Paramount's about to take over, none of this is going to matter in 2 years.
Wow, yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying is that why you don't pigeonhole, you don't put yourself into a box like that with your second movie in your new universe. You needed Wonder Woman in that.
I would have, if knowing that Clayface was here, I would have put Clayface next. I would have definitely been like, here's Superman, here's an opposite. If you want an opposite, don't go Superman, Supergirl and make her like weird. I would have been like superhero, villain, or whatever he's going to be. I would have been like bam bam like that. That's what I would have done, and then drop lanterns and then do whatever you want to do going on. But now that you have Supergirl, you have this complete, you know, bump in the road of this street that you're taking. Now you have to, now you're good people to be like, well, Supergirl was shit. Why do we care about Clayface?
Oh my God. That's the problem.
It's a completely different movie. It's a completely different thing. I completely understand. But if people attach it to the DC universe and they're like, well, Supergirl was not that great. What are we doing here?
After Supergirl came out, Safran came out and said, we have to win the audience back. You already did that with Superman. Why are you backtracking now and saying, now we have to win them back again?
Yeah.
With Clayface? How's that going to work?
I don't think Supergirl is like the failure everybody is like thinking it to be right now. Like people have like, we live in like a really short attention span cycle. And I'm sure by the time this is on like streaming on demand and on HBO Max for a while, and before the Clayface comes out, people have a different taste on their mouth about this. I think there's an element to it bombing now of like, people poo-pooed on it, and then it, and it became fashionable. Like we've talked about this before, how there is like an element of like not wanting to get piled on and whatever, or like something, or like, the online culture taking the fun out of something before people can enjoy it. And, but I'm not saying that this movie is like an epic piece of art either. It's somewhere in the middle. But I'm just saying it's par for the course. And it's just where we're at with comic movies, and that like, the exceptions are rare and they're going to be moving forward. And you should expect a lot more, off the line hamburgers that are all going to taste the same. And Marvel is not going to be giving you anything much better. They're just not. And I think the people that think that there's a difference are just really we're living in a nostalgia age where like a lot of those Marvel movies felt fresh because it felt like they were making movies for us. But if you go back and watch them, they are very much not comic accurate and not their, and not great movies either. Like Phase 1 has like maybe 1.5 good movies. It's kind of hard.
I mean, which, because I like the Captain America movies.
Mm-hmm. I think those are maybe a stretch. I like the third one a lot, and I like the first one. I like parts of the first one. I think there's a lot of things that missed in the first one. I am not a Winter Soldier guy. I'll die on that hill. I think it's one of the worst Marvel movies.
I completely agree, and I don't like Civil War either. I've long said this to you, Rosario. I've long said to you this.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't like
Winter Soldier's in my top 3.
No, but you always have to like everything is a part of time. So you have to remember where you're coming from.
Sure. And that's what I'm saying. Supergirl 10 years ago, I think it's a completely different discussion.
Yeah.
But now it's sort of like, again, we've seen all of this. If Supergirl had even a better villain, I think you might have even had a better response to it. But the dude is so milquetoast that he's so uninteresting that the just put somebody better in there. And I think you would have had a better situation. Better bad guy.
Yeah.
But you didn't even adapt the character from the comic you were adapting it from.
No, he's very different.
Different character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think like I'm saying is that you're almost at the tail end of this whole entire superhero thing, and you're trying to build a new universe, and that's not what you do, because you're at the end of this thing. You need to have hit, and get your best characters.
Let me flip the script. Here's a thought. Knowing, especially because of the Snyder Bros, who are going to tear down anything that Gunn makes, right? Mm-hmm. Or that's made without Snyder. Yeah. Knowing that those guys exist, maybe the script should have been different. What if instead of coming back with Superman after we just had Man of Steel and all that kind of stuff, what if we had come back with something? I'm trying to think of like DC books that are out of. What if they had started with Lobo? What if Lobo was just a movie with Jason Momoa, and that was the first starting of this stuff? If they went complete polar opposite of what Snyder was doing and used different characters, and you could have done it in a way that Marvel did, where you sort of have like a standalone that leads to something and a standalone that leads to something. But it's characters that we haven't already been inundated with forever. Superman, Batman, whatever. What do you think? What do you think of that thought? Like, because he almost did it with Creature Commandos. He came out with like this really weird, off the wall thing. I was bummed that it was an animated thing. I wanted that to be a live action show. Yeah. But yeah, he kind of went into that, but then he went, well, we'll do Superman again, I guess. I think you might have had a better opportunity to really change the narrative if you had really changed the narrative.
Right, but I think one of the mistakes they made was coming out and announcing this whole thing up front.
Mm-hmm. Well, but that's the Marvel template, though. They tried to use the Marvel template.
When Iron Man came out, they didn't say
no. When those came out, but they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They were ready to fail. Right. But nowadays, everything is supposed to be like, well, this is our 2026, and you show it to everybody, and you get people excited.
I don't think you was like. Did you like? He came out and said, my whole entire thing is I don't want to make the same mistakes Marvel did as they were going along, and then you went and did the same exact thing. And then you announced all these things, and then started canceling things over like one at a time.
Man, you guys like, this guy blinks, and you guys are pronouncing him dead. You're like, holy shit, like
well, he's dead because Paramount's taking over, and Paramount is going to clean house. That's all. If that wasn't happening, I wouldn't be talking about it. But his contract ends in 2027, and that's when Paramount's going to come in.
It's going to be difficult because here's the problem: if Supergirl had been a huge hit,
yes,
then I would say he'd stick around.
Yes,
but seeing the short, unless Clayface comes out and it's a massive hit, like they make it for like $20 million and they make $400 million.
Yeah,
that might save him. Because the problem with Supergirl is that
might.
Right, but the problem with Supergirl is that it's only made $108 million worldwide, and I don't know what it costs, but I'm pretty sure it costs $150. Yeah,
no, I think it was like $150.
Yeah, but still,
it'll make its money back. That's not a loss. Like you guys, like box office is not the end of the road. Like a lot of movies, make a, you can make like this movie could have $50 million at the box office right now and still make its budget back plus. Like yes, it would be nice if it did better, but I mean,
but you also got to remember it's a weird thing, the box office, because the box office number isn't what's going into Warner Brothers' pocket. Part of that is going to the movie theaters, so it is losing.
No, that's such a small portion. Movie theaters make their money on concessions.
Brother,
not make money on ticket
sales. That first week it's a 50-50 split. Then after that. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Okay. Every studio except for Disney. Disney gets they get 60% of the gross in the first week.
Yeah, and then it shifts weeks after. But yeah, I the anti-woke mob got it. You said it, Fred. The internet culture took a big chunk out of it, right? Sure. Will it make its budget back? I don't think so, brother, because it's not just production budget, right? It's promotional budget as well. And you're flying these people around the country, right? That's not cheap. That's on your dime. You're setting up all these press junkets, right? These press junkets are also catered You're also looking at security. You're also looking at logistics. That's dope, brother. That's dope.
But even let's just assume it does legitimately break even across all costs. That's not what anybody's looking for on a movie like that. So that's why I believe that when Paramount does come in, they're going to look at whatever's been released at that point. Unless Clayface goes explosive, unless Superman next year blows up, I think that he's at the end of the road, and because they're just gonna look at it as like, well, it's not working, guys. Like it's making less than what the Snyder movies made, but we're in an inflationary period, so it should just be making more anyway. But it's selling less tickets too. Okay, that's not necessarily because of the film. I mean, that's just the environment that we live in too. Economy and all that kind of stuff. That affects stuff. Streaming, like we talked about.
And this is all shareholder stuff. This has nothing to do with the audience.
Right.
That's what they're going to say. The shareholders will be like, no way, dude.
I think Tom said something earlier. They didn't have faith in this from the beginning, and that's why they put it in the release the same weekend of Toy Story and
in between Toy Story and Minions. I don't. Did they
put it in between Toy Story and Minions, or did they pick a date and then Minions and Toy Story sandwiched it?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, but even if that happened, they could have moved.
Yeah,
and that shows fear. Nobody moves. Look at Marvel; they're building their own theater.
Well, then Marvel is Marvel, though. I mean, Marvel doesn't really have too many. You know what I mean?
What?
Yeah.
Marvel moved their release date because Dune is coming out. Was going to come out the same weekend.
When did they move it? I thought they were building their own IMAXs to compete with Dune because Dune has IMAX.
They're moving a week before Dune because Dune is booked up.
They never moved.
They moved. They're not coming out the same weekend as Dune. I'm telling you.
It hasn't moved yet. I'll probably say if they want to move it, they'll announce it when the trailer comes out. But it's still in that same spot now.
I heard that they moved because they're going to get crushed because they don't have any of the IMAX movie theaters because Dune already booked them all.
Yeah, it says they are still scheduled for December 18th.
Wow.
Well, they came up with their own thing, Infinity Vision.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're trying to make their own thing to compete with it because they're not going to move. They're gonna die on this hill.
They're probably going to get crushed.
No, we'll find out. Let's see what the chat is saying right now, guys. Chat's been.
I don't think Avengers movie's gonna get crushed by Dune.
No. Yeah. IMAX is a thing. I mean, that would hurt, but no, people are going to go see that. Again, that's the movie that people are going to talk about at the water cooler. So people are going to go see that before they see Dune because they don't want to get it spoiled.
100%.
I think both of those movies coming out for the Christmas season, it's going to be big.
Yeah, they'll both be big, right? For sure. Yeah.
What was it? The Barbarella? Not Barbarella. Yeah. What were they calling it?
Barbenheimer.
Right. Yeah, they got it up there. It's
Barbenheimer.
Doomsday.
Yeah, I like that, Marvin. They're gonna do Doomsday. Yeah. I like that. All right, so we go. Daphne, she got bit by a spider, and she's still waiting for her powers. Way to go! I go into the movies with no expectations. Orlando is a movie based on a 1928 book by Virginia Woolf. Okay. Very few movies I will go back to over and over again. Which do you guys go back to over and over again? Mine is Constantine, What Dreams May Come, Black Widow.
Widow. I'm sorry about your household, man.
What Dreams May Come is not a movie I can watch more than 2 or 3 times. That movie.
What Dreams May Come hurts me. It's a very emotional movie. Very emotional movie.
Okay, we all have a wart or two on our list and shit. Okay, I am an unabashed Daredevil, Ben Affleck Daredevil supporter.
So buddy, I got the director's cut that gives you an extra 28 minutes. 20
better.
Coolio in court.
It's way better, man. Yeah. Who would have thought? Whoever watched the movie and said if this movie had Coolio, it would be 10% better. But it fucking is true in that movie.
I know. I'm sorry, Green Lantern. Burke says she's an alien who becomes a hero. Yes, and it was John Wick in space with 20-something trauma victims.
Yeah.
He agrees with you, Fred. Vince, Supergirl is even B League or C League of SC superheroes. Seems an odd choice for a second movie rollout. Okay. Dan Cap has been my absolute favorite thing in the MCU so far. I'm with you on that one, Burks. He is. I agree with leading with Lobo. Okay. I was at SDCC when they announced Iron Man. They had a plan way early. Okay.
But they didn't tell anybody what the plan was.
They didn't tell anybody. Exactly. Okay. Heronberg, hail to the chat. Watch Supergirl this week and the first 2 episodes of Silo. All right. Way to be, bud. Also finished the first season of Spider-Man Noir. Yeah, that was
that a lot.
We finished that. guys, this shit. I mean, I didn't think the movies were going to take that much time. You know, there was a lot that happened, especially last night with the announcement of one of the most used printers in the American North Midwest.
Hemisphere?
Yeah, Hemisphere, right? And this, no matter how you look at it, I think this puts a lot of people in the bind for San Diego Comic-Con, right? A lot of folks were probably waiting for orders, maybe premium books, stuff like that. And there's no way they're going to get books printed in 2 weeks to be ready for San Diego. So that kind of sucks.
Is everybody running the Comic Impressions right now, trying to deal with it? They do rush orders now at Comic Impressions.
Okay. Well, Greco. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. Let me pull this up. Because this is a statement from them. Here we go. So this is coming from Comics Wellspring. All right, service update. Production pause. Orders being refunded. A message to our customers. To our valued customers, we sincerely apologize, but due to unforeseen operational challenges, Comics Wellspring, owned and operated by Carter Finishing, must temporarily suspend accepting new orders and halt production at this time. Any orders that have not been completed will be fully refunded. Our team will be reaching out to affected customers. Additional information in the near future. Over the past week, we have been working with the original founders of Comics Wellspring, Greco Printing, to remove the previous non-compete restrictions that prevented them from printing any comic books. As a result, they are once again able to provide comic printing services. If you are looking to print with a trusted printer, we encourage you to contact Greco for a printing quote. Their team has decades of experience at producing comics and would be happy to discuss your project and available options. We're truly grateful.
What are they? I don't understand what this is telling me. Are they out of business, or are they just doing sort of like we got to reset our business?
They could be in a Chapter 11. I don't know. This is all of the information that is currently available, right? But for some people who've been watching this has been in the works ever since they bought Comics Wellspring from Greco. There have been a bunch of services that they have been eliminating little by little.
Okay.
Well, right? What it seems like is that it's a situation where the company buys another company and doesn't understand what they do, doesn't understand how much things cost, and then they look at the books and they're like, "What in the holy hell is going on here?"
That's why James Gunn is out in a year. Same thing. Same thing.
But I mean, I think that this happens a lot though, especially like if we want to roll back to when we were talking about Sony and other things like that. Microsoft and Sony did the same thing. Microsoft bought Activision and did nothing with it. They bought the team that made State of Decay, didn't ever release a game in the 7 years they had them under them. So it's the same thing. You're buying things and you don't know what they do because you just want to consolidate things and collect things like trading cards.
Yeah, that was like Acclaim buying Valiant back in the day.
Yeah. Like, why are you buying? You don't know. What are you doing? Like, it was just like you saw something, someone told you, hey, this is worth this much. And then you nickel and dime it to pieces. And then you're like, okay, now we're out.
Right. I remember they were even doing a podcast. And that went the way of the dodo very quickly. They bit off more they can chew, and they ended up choking on it. I just feel bad for all those people that were waiting for orders to debut product at San Diego Comic-Con. That sucks for them.
Well, their Kickstarter campaigns and all kinds of stuff is crapped out. Yeah.
I mean, if you're in Lurch, Comic Impressions does do rush orders. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that everyone's on the ball with them right now. So good luck contacting them and trying to, like, 2 weeks is nothing for them if you do rush order.
Well, I mean, Philbo, isn't he up and running?
I don't know. I saw him. He's up and running with the printing because I saw him 2 weeks ago at Garden State Comic Fest, and he had just gotten the printer. So I think he had to work out a lot of technical issues.
He posted something today.
Oh, he did?
Or somebody posted about him, and they gave a little chart of like what he does and costs and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not aware that they had got bought out by another company. Even I thought they were still under Greco.
No, Greco sold that part of the business, right? If you get a good offer, why not fucking move it?
Yeah.
Right. Look at the guy from Barstool Sports. He sold the company for $500 million, bought it back for $1. Right? Could this be another one of those instances?
Right. Like I said, the company who brought it didn't know what to do with it, so they're like, whatever.
Yeah. And then okay, so we got Burks is saying, yeah, that's them saying they're done. Okay. Hermanberg, we met Phil at Garden State pitching his distro. Yeah. He was there. We was talking to him. I didn't know you were there. I hope you did good over there at Garden State, bud. All right, before we get out of here, because we're almost at that point, I want to talk about Marvin's book that is currently live on Kickstarter and funded and part of our trading card crossover set. Right? Marvin, you want to give us a quick rundown about the Edge Volume 3?
Sure. So Edge Volume 3, this is the organization God's Thunder. They want to eliminate anyone who has enhanced abilities. So what do? You get someone with enhanced abilities to go after them. So they recruit this 8-foot tall hulking monster named Kyrad to go smash people with his hammer. Okay. So this is issues 10 through 14. Like you said, we fund it fast, and we've hit our wall. So we're hoping to get out of that wall. Still 21 days to go because some guy left it on 45 days for some reason. I don't know why he did that. So we go until the 31st. I mean, it works out kind of way because I've got a couple more shows to do, so I can talk to people about it at shows about stuff.
Very cool, brother.
And so we've unlocked the trading card. We've unlocked some print. So we've got one thing to unlock at 50 backers. It's a story called The Fiends. So that is the next story arc. So the story actually introduces a character group called Standard Issue that are able to kind of separate the powers from the Edge. So they get an injection in their spine and they're not able to pick a power. Mm-hmm. And the Fiends are the test subjects that didn't survive or survived it, but didn't come out very good. So they're addicted to the drug. They have to have it continuously. So I wrote a starter story called The Four Fiends that talks about the 4 people involved in this and why they decided to become test subjects.
Okay.
So 50 backers, we unlock that part of the story. It's an add-on story to the trade.
Nice, brother. Nice. All right.
And this campaign is running so long that James Gunn will be out of work and this thing will still be going.
I could hire him then, right?
Yes. He's going to write the next issue.
When we're all dead and people are talking about the comic book genre, James Gunn will unfortunately go down as one of the 3 most important filmmakers.
Okay, I'm with that.
And I like a lot of unfortunate. I mean, it makes sense. Who would it be? Like James Gunn and who else?
Nolan, and that's it. I mean, maybe Raimi. I mean, but that's it. Yeah. There's not a lot of great filmmakers in comics.
This is the card. This is the card that is part of the crossover set from Marvin. All right, and here's everything. Total. Has everything been released but Marvin's and mine? No. The second card from Rob, correct?
And my second card.
And your second card. Which one is your second card?
One right in the middle. Magi's Grace.
Oh, there we go. Launching TBA. Okay. Yep. Okay. And in mine, on the bottom right, it says launching TBA. But you know what, guys? That card is going to be launching soon because New York versus the World is going to be coming out. I am tentatively planning for a release next Friday for New York versus the World, #1, remastered and in full color. So all we have right now is the pre-launch page up with the cover. We're still building that. We were just approved just before I got in. So I ended up putting this up quickly so I can have something to show everybody. All right. But the card will be here as well. This will be the first stretch goal item in this. And we're gonna try to squeeze this out along with one more before New York Comic Con hits. So I hope you're all ready
question,
to join us. What's up?
Why did you want to go back and put it in color?
What I want to go back and put it in color.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time. I think a lot of people have seen the black and white, and the color. I had it ready to go. I had the color ready to go to do a trade with all the issues in color. But let me.
He's doing the Calderon method.
I'm
just making conversation. Just
there
were other people before me.
Here we go. Champe saying New York versus the world. Yay. What's up? Berg says black and white is badass. Yes, it was badass, brother. But also, there were a couple of technical issues when I look back at it that I want to clean up. And
the George Lucas method.
Definitely. I just won't be slipping a Jabba's tail, But there's a couple technical issues that I want to look at it. It just it hits me. Here we go. Champe says no, it's not in color. I cut color that. You colored, I think, issue 2 and I shouldn't say anything. But it wasn't you that colored the first issue, brother. He's following the Kirkman playbook. Walking Dead is in color now. Thank you, William. Thank you. So we're gonna have that ready for New York Comic Con, but also
but Kirkman calls it deluxe. You just called it remastered. You gotta change your marketing.
Deluxe. I called mine Redux when I redid issue 1. So
I did the Redux also. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to putting this out. It's going to be a quickie, and hopefully we knock out one more. I won't tell you what that other one is, but if you've been following us and you got the last Kickstarter rewards for Vicky Sticks, you may have an idea. And aside from that, Unstoppable Comics will be at New York Comic Con this year, October 8, 9, 10.
The gigantic booth.
Tom, can I roll this stuff out little by little?
No, deluxe. You got to go deluxe.
We're gonna go deluxe. Okay, you know what? No. Because I remember when I went to the show stuff for the cards, you're like, Jay, don't spoil it, Jay, don't spoil it. And here you are, and you're breaking down my whole marketing plan for what we're gonna be doing at New York Comic Con. So next week, not only are we going to be launching New York versus the World #1, next week we are also going to be announcing the theme, the title for what Unstoppable Comics is going to be doing at New York Comic Con. And I can't wait to share that with you all next Friday. Yes, there will be a theme, buddy.
You want to have a kissing booth, right?
No, no, and I can't say what I was suggested to do. For the booth.
It doesn't begin with a glory.
No, but it's along those lines. So guys, we hit the hour and a half mark. I want to thank everybody who hung out with us tonight. If you are here we go. Thank you, Tom. Folks, if you had fun with us, please make sure you go back and check some of the older episodes. They're a blast. We have fun, and we're doing all of this. Fred, let everybody know where they can find you and where you're going to be next, brother.
You can find me at Schwartzart LLC or www.schwartzart-LLC. If you go into Kickstarter, look up Fisticuffs. Book 4 is still live, accepting late pledges. There's still time to get in on that. And that's it.
Okay, cool, brother. Calderon, where can they find you?
Facebook, Instagram, all those different places. This Sunday night, back on the show. And on Kickstarter with Dreamweavers and the Oswald Chronicles. So,
all right, way to be. Tom, where can they find you, bro?
BigDogInc.com. Get your books. We'll be in San Diego Comic Con in 2 weeks. I'll be at the Antarctic Press booth with Critter exclusives, comic books, and merch, and then I'll be back here in August with the next part of the Legend of Oz 15-year anniversary.
Okay, way to be, brother. Marvin.
EdgeComic.com, comicsbird.com, and on Kickstarter, where you can get you a bottle of
Which had been sold out after North Carolina, so you get a nice little refill, right?
Yeah, we sold almost 20 bottles of this stuff.
Way to be, baby. Way to be, brother. All right. And this is where you can find me, folks. Comic Book Streamland is a division of Unstoppable Comics, and you can find us on pretty much everything as Unstoppable Comics. Substack, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, barely use Twitter or whatever they want to call it now, and YouTube, Unstoppable Comics, or Jay the Unstoppable, folks. Thank you so much. If you want more information, please check out unstoppablecomics.com. We'll see you next week, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everyone.